Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Total Quilter Monthly for November 2022. My name is Mark Garetz and I'm a National Floriani educator. In this month's lesson we're going to be going over a fun feature of Total Quilter called the Magic Block Creator. Okay, so first thing I want to tell you is that normally I would be using Total Quilter only, which I'm using what's called demo mode, and that does not allow me to save, and I want to show you some of the saving options from the Magic Block Creator. So I'm going to be in regular total control mode so you can see all the icons. I think that's okay because most of you probably already have total control anyway, so your screen looks more like this. So let's get started with the Magic Block Creator. First of all, it's a feature that's only available in Total Quilter, and you access it with this icon right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it, and if you want to follow along with today's lesson, you can, or you can just sit back and watch. When you open up Magic Block Creator, you get this interface here, and this is the Magic Block Creator. And you can see here that I've got an image of a turkey because that's kind of what I've been playing with. I thought that would be fun for Thanksgiving since it's the November issue. But normally you won't see this turkey because this is something I added. So normally if you open it up, you'll get one of these magic blocks, and you'll probably start out with this first one here, and your screen will look something like this. And so what it does, what Magic Block Creator does, is it takes a portion of the input image and outputs it in kind of a kaleidoscope fashion. All right, so it takes this and it does various things with it depending on which one of these other windows we select. Now I've got this one selected here, and you can see the small image here doesn't look anything like this. That's because it's zoomed in. To see what the whole thing is going to look like, I click this zoom to fit icon here, and you could see what the resulting quilt block would look like. Now if you like that quilt block, you can go up here and save it, but you can start to play with it to get various results here in this window, and you could choose other windows as well. Some look the same or similar, some look completely different, like this one or this one. So let's go back to this one here, and this little window here is what is being reflected in 4 dimensions or more over here to give us our resulting quilt block. I can hover over the edge of this window, so this corner right here, and click and drag it, and when I let off, it's going to change what the pattern is. And again, I'm going to click the zoom to fit so I see the whole thing. So that's the new quilt block based on this. I can continue to do that, okay, to get different patterns, and I can see what that one looks like. I can click and drag this block around, so I can kind of put it in the center here, and if you like that one, you can save that one. And you can see here that you've got all these different variations on it. So there's a different variation, there's another variation. Some of them, again, look very similar, but they don't have to. Again, I can change the size, and when I do that, I get other various block arrangements. So this is the basic idea of the Magic Block Creator, in that you can take an image of a quilt block and change it up by having it automatically make all these different reflections of it. And you can use a quilt block image, or you can use any other image. So you could use a photograph, you could use all different kinds of things, but let me just scroll down here to where this turkey is. I'm going really fast because I know it's under T for turkey. Here we go. And so I'm going to select that and open it. And you can see here that now I've got various fun things based on that turkey image. If I want more of the colors in, I can move over here, and I can again click the zoom to fit, and I can see it kind of looks like a turkey. I can select a different preview of a different way of reflecting it. There's another way of reflecting it. And another fun thing you can do is you can have it automatically go through random variations by clicking this play button. So if I click play, it's going to go and cycle through a bunch of different options here automatically by moving this window around and showing me different previews in the different reflections. Okay, so that one was kind of fun there, the one with the turkey feet. So if I want to go back to it, I click the stop, which I just did. Then I'm going to click this reverse button here to go back to where the turkey feet were. So it looks like acorns with turkey feet. I don't know if you'd want to make a quilt block with that, but it's kind of a fun image, so I can go through that again forward, and I can click play again and see what things are going to look like. Now if I get to something that I like, I don't know, we'll just stop here kind of randomly on a pattern. Let's stop on that one. And I want to see what this is going to look like as a quilt. So right now what I've got is a quilt block. I can change my grid size to a different grid size, which is going to repeat this over a different set of repeats. So if I had a 6x6 block quilt, I could change this to 6. I could change this to 6. And then I could do this zoom to fit again, and I can get an idea of what that quilt block is going to look like. Now that might look a little bit small, so I can use these zoom icons to zoom in to see what it's going to look like. This will give you an idea of the repetitiveness in a certain size. If I don't care about the actual size, I can just set this back to 1. I'm not going to do the arrows, just going to type. I can click this repeat box here, and it'll just repeat it over the window. And again, I can play, and I can see what these quilts are going to look like. And you can see the fun you can have with the Magic Block Creator. Now once I get something I like, I can click stop, and then I can save it. Okay, so right now I'm looking at a quilt, but I'm going to uncheck the repeat. So there's just the one block. Again, I can click the zoom to fit to see what that block looks like. And I can come up here to save. Now save gives me some options. I can save the magic block. I can save it as a repeating pattern, and I can save it as a fabric swatch. Okay, so saving it as a magic block lets me bring it in back to the Magic Block Creator, or I can load it as a backdrop in Total Quilter so that I can bring that backdrop in, and I'll show you that in a second when we close this out, as a backdrop, and then I can, using my tools, create the actual quilt block over the top using this as a guideline. And I can also save it as a fabric swatch. And what saving it as a fabric swatch lets me do is saving it as a magic block repeat lets me actually save it over a wide repeating range, and I get options when I click that as to how many repeats I want. Now why would I want to save it that way? Because you can actually send that image out to a custom fabric creator, and they will create a fabric pattern based on your magic block pattern. So that's kind of cool as well. So that is the basics of the Magic Block Creator, and you can play with it, have all kinds of fun. One other thing you can do is click this colors button here, and you can adjust the colors of it. So if I want to change the hue, I can click that button, and if I move this, you'll see it change the output, not the input, but it changes the colors of the output based on the input. Okay, and I can change the saturation, which determines how much color there is, and I can change the luminance, which changes how bright or soft it is, and I can actually make it black and white if I don't want any colors at all. Okay, so that's what that colors button does. And I can change this selection size by clicking and dragging it like this, or I can actually type a value in here, but it always gives me a square, so I can only type in 1. All right, so if I wanted to put in, say, 200 by 200, I could do that, and this would be the resulting block. All right, so if I don't like the fact that I made it all green, I can just come back here, uncheck hue, and I get my original colors back. All right, so that's my turkey base block there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close out the Magic Block Creator. It asked me if I want to save it. I'm going to say no, I don't want to save it. But when I bring in a backdrop, which is what I do over here with the backdrop icon, when I click it, I get an option to bring in a normal backdrop or a magic block. And what this does is it goes basically to the magic block directory, and I see these magic blocks that have already been created here. So I can click this one and bring it in as a backdrop, and then I can either use my normal artwork tools or my AppliQuilt tools to turn this into an AppliQuilt block or a regular block, depending on what I want to do. And again, I can just save this as a normal image, so I can bring it into Design and Quilt or any other software I have and build this into an actual quilt block. So that is Total Quilter Monthly for November. I want to thank you for watching and invite you to come back next month when we'll have another edition of Total Quilter Monthly.